The 2026 MLB trade deadline has officially come and gone, and the Boston Red Sox had no shortage of activity. Boston is currently one of the hottest teams in the league, and the moves they made are very clearly centered on one goal. That is winning right now. And while they do have a better chance to do that than they did a few days ago, I'm going to be honest, a couple of these moves make me scratch my head. We'll start with the big one, which was the Adley Rutschman deal. Catcher was arguably the biggest area of need on this Red Sox team coming into the deadline, and they addressed it. Rutschman is one of the most well-rounded catchers in baseball, and his 764 OPS is the highest mark he has posted since 2023. He's under team control through next season, and that goes a long way in these trade negotiations. But still, in my opinion, this feels like a pretty massive overpay. In exchange for Rutschman, Boston is trading two of their top three prospects in pitchers Anthony Ianson and Kyson Witherspoon, as well as their number 6 prospect, outfielder Endy Azekar, catcher Carlos Narvaez, and a player to be named later. Boston did also get catcher Jake Rogers and cash in the deal, but that is not enough to make this feel like less of an overpay. If the Red Sox are able to extend Rutschman and continue to get very strong production out of him, this move might not look as bad, but for the time being, I'm left scratching my head at this, even with all the talent that he does bring. I'm also somewhat scratching my head at the team moving Marcelo Meyer. I won't lie and say that his first taste of the majors hasn't been disappointing. He has just a 625 OPS across 114 games. And in addition to the struggles on the field, he's also struggled to stay healthy. Still, I am perplexed by the decision to move him. Meyer was traded to the San Francisco Giants in exchange for left-handed reliever Erik Miller and outfield prospect Carlos Gutierrez. Miller is under contract through 2029, and he is having a career year. He owns a 2.76 ERA across 32 and 2/3 innings, along with 45 strikeouts to 22 walks. He generates a ton of swing and miss with his sinker slider combination. He limits hard contact exceptionally well, and he keeps the ball on the ground. Miller himself is great, and Boston needed another left-handed reliever alongside Aroldis Chapman. But you're taking a pretty serious gamble here, I think, if you're Boston. Not only are you moving a former top prospect who is still just 23, but by moving him and everyone mentioned in the Rutschman deal, you're making the bet that you will jump the Yankees and Rays in the AL East and or make a serious run in the playoffs as a wildcard team. Not to say it can't be done, but that is certainly a risky move. Boston also added some outfield help, acquiring Eli White from the Braves in exchange for relief pitcher Tyler Uberstein. The majority of White's value will not come with a bat in his hands, but he's a solid short side platoon option against left-handed pitching. He's also great in the field. He's graded out as a well above average defender every year that he has been healthy for. And with 99th percentile sprint speed, he and Ceddanne Rafaela will be covering a lot of ground in the outfield. It's not the flashiest of additions necessarily, but I think moving him for a 27-year-old reliever with 2 career major league innings under his belt is a move worth making. And then, of course, we have the Connolly Early deal. He was moved to Washington in a 1-for-1 swap with Curtis Mead, and unfortunately, Mead took one at-bat with Boston before fracturing his left wrist, and he will be out now for at least a month. It's easy to say now, but even at the time of the trade, I didn't love this one. Early is currently dealing with an injury of his own as he is on the IL with elbow inflammation, which is not something to be taken lightly. And I mean, that can keep you out for a while, and perhaps Boston is worried about that. But this is a 24-year-old starting pitcher, a left-handed starting pitcher at that, who has been fantastic over his first 111 major league innings. Assuming this inflammation doesn't turn into something more, I'm really not a big fan of this deal for the Red Sox. Maybe I'm just being overly skeptical as a whole, but it feels like Boston was a little too aggressive at this year's trade deadline. I'm all for going for it when you feel like you have a chance, but moving 3 top 6 prospects for Rutschman, another former top prospect in Meyer, and Connolly Early feels like taking that a step too far. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments and let me know which moves I'm wrong on. But all in all, I got to be honest, I was not a huge fan of the Boston Red Sox 2026 trade deadline. But that is what I've got for you guys for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Red Sox content. But until next time, I'm Sam Calder, and I'm out.